Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more interesting stories like these. Now, let's get into today's story video. Finally found out that my girlfriend of 10 plus years and fiance of 4 years has been cheating on me for the last 3 years, after deciding to put all of our money into purchasing a house. A man 5 years younger than me, 30, screamed into my driveway in the wee hours of the morning. The other day, as I was coming outside to welcome my fiancé, I came across a man who claims to be surprised that the woman he's been seeing for 3 years now has her own house with a dog, as well as a boyfriend. While I was outside with the two of them, he walked inside the house and stated his point of view on the situation. The previous 10 years have seen me and my partner together in many different situations. Through it all, we've managed to get engaged while I was away at grad school in the middle of it all. Something didn't seem quite right when I returned to my mother's house after a long absence. Our relationship had simply deteriorated, and we were no longer experiencing the same degree of closeness that we had before. They did, however, agree to collaborate on the project. When things started to look up for us, we came to the conclusion that we would not be getting married. A house was something we had wanted to acquire with the money we had saved and the money that our family would be donating to us so we could start our family. After a year of living at home and her years of arguing with me over my decision to enable her to be independent and go out with her friends, I learned that she has been in a relationship with this other guy the whole time. For an extended period of time. I'm at a loss for what to do since our lives are so intertwined and because we each own this wonderful property in our own names. In addition to being a superb canine friend, she hasn't raised any objections, and she seems to be telling me the truth about this specific guy in question. It was this guy who was able to fill a need in her life that I was unable to fill on my own. In addition to wanting to feel loved again and wanting to feel young again, among other reasons, she claimed that she committed the crime. I think that our current situation has been demanding on her, and she wanted to be able to experience something that would make her feel like she was back in college or something similar. To be really honest, I don't think it's fair to me. Despite the fact that she expressed a desire for us to work, I can't seem to get the image of her and this lie out of my head for some strange reason. Our way of life, as well as our family and our house, are all things I enjoy. Despite this, I'm not sure I'll ever be able to love her in the same way again. Please, someone come to my aid. It was only after knowing of her situation that I decided to spend this weekend apart from her. Update 1. I confided in numerous acquaintances, all of whom supplied me with excellent advice, but who basically cautioned me against making any impulsive decisions, whether in the short or long run. Having the courage to let oneself to feel these emotions without attempting to control them or expecting answers is a challenging challenge. I am quite aware that my ex-girlfriend treated me as if I were a piece of trash, yet I have no ill will toward her and do not wish her dead. While I understand that this seems unusual and that it may be indicative of my having lost my affections for her, my goal is to prevent her from dying the roadside. All I need is for individuals to be completely honest with me and for us to be completely honest with one another. First and foremost, I want to be able to summon the courage to make an honest decision for my own benefit. We've spoken a lot about what transpired between us over the course of the preceding few days, and we've argued over how she should explain what she did to me in the process. It's impossible to justify in any manner. However, it did offer us with some insight into what was going on between us at the time. This week, I'll be seeing a new soul therapist, as well as a couple therapists who will be working with her as well. In contrast, this week, I took the week off from work and told my boss that I would be traveling to the coast. I came to the conclusion that we needed some time apart from one another to digest our emotions and restore our equilibrium. Despite the fact that she has been hammering me with the guilt of the things I have done to her over the years, I feel she needs to take a long, hard look in the mirror to see what she has done to herself. She is also more defensive of her actions and frightened of losing her house to me and being stigmatized as a cheat than I am as the person who has had their life turned upside down, which is something I have seen myself as well as heard from others. And it narrates the whole narrative. Consequently, I'm assigning to her all of the jobs that I regularly perform, even those that she may not completely know, such as the things I do around the house starting this week. My friends, I know you're all ready to fling your pitchforks at me and demand that I dump her and make the situation into a gigantic horrific thing, but that's just not how I work at all. Making a decent decision and feeling good about it afterward are two things I'd want to be able to do. And if I were to leave her in the way in which I did, it would be because I have matured as a person as a consequence of her atrocious behavior, which would make her feel as bad as I did when I left her first. Furthermore, she will be disappointed when she comes face to face with the person with whom she may have been involved. My state of mind, though, is still a bit dizzy and bewildered, and I'm not quite ready to go yet. Update 2. A lot has transpired in the previous month or so, and treatment has shown to be really effective in my rehabilitation. The decision was made by my ex-fiancée and myself that she needed to transfer to a new apartment, and that we needed to stop our relationship completely. It is said that we have both been seeing therapists, and we have both agreed to abstain from talking for at least 1 month as part of our treatment. That particular period of time has been set aside for me. In fact, I've noticed that having regular contact with her and reliving events and disagreements with her has had the opposite effect of helping, and has instead pushed me back into an emotional mess, so I've decided to avoid contact with her until I feel better, if and when I finally get around to it. This period of time after my last article has driven me into the most agonizing anguish that I have ever experienced in my whole life to this point. Although I believe that some good can come of it, I do not believe that such is the case. Because I've been working out and going on dates, my awareness of who I am and what I want/need in life and in a relationship with someone else has begun to develop. After being in a long-term relationship that evolves slowly over time and having grown up with a family history of infidelity, you come to accept it as the usual rather than the exception. In fact, it has proven to be my largest cause of difficulties. What a normal relationship is or may be is incomprehensible to me at this point. Conversations with others who have no previous experience with this kind of situation and who have no comprehension of our circumstances have been useful, because they have helped me realize how twisted up our lives were and how screwed up what she did was. It turns out that the guy was absolutely oblivious of what was going on, so I've just gotten in contact with him as well. As of this writing, he has not replied to my email, as well as confirming whether or not she had seen him since D-Day. I was searching for clarity on a couple of other issues as well. Ex-spouse has been making repeated attempts to renew their connection with me, but I have absolutely no intention of doing so in the foreseeable future. What will happen over the next several months is that I will buy her out of our house and gradually move her to a different location. It is probable that I will make one last update on this topic when I have signed the necessary paperwork and resumed my normal life. In any case, I wanted to convey my appreciation to everyone who has shown their support for me on this site or via private messages on other platforms. As a matter of fact, you cannot really prepare yourself for or grasp what it is like unless you have actually experienced it, which is what I am presently going through as I write this article. My dreams are regular, and I have bouts of great weariness and melancholy from time to time. However, it is possible to feel hopeful and even excited about the future, and I am starting to see glimmers of this in the world around me today. To anybody else who may be going through anything similar to this, I want to emphasize the significance of doing all in your power to get yourself out of the situation as quickly as you possibly can. In order to have a more complete image of your life, you should strive to avoid direct involvement with the person who had the affair, since they are toxic and will make you feel terrible. Keep in mind that you are not the source of any of the suffering you are experiencing. Going out with friends or going on a vacation to get your mind off things is an example of compulsively engaging in activities. Breaking Open by Elizabeth Lesser, which was recommended to me by my therapist, was a book that I found quite beneficial.